Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds. We got a good show tonight. Got an awesome guest. My guest tonight is a paranormal investigator. He's also a reverend. He's also an exorcist with the Order of St. Michael. He has 26 years of experience in the field, and he's here tonight to talk to us a little bit about it, what he does, and we're not going to keep him backstage. We're going to bring him right on. So, welcome my guest this time, Reverend Dan Todd. Hey, Reverend, welcome. Looks like your mic's muted. Can you hear me? Hey, Sandy, welcome in. Welcome in to everybody who's watching. There you go.
Oh, there I am. Hello.
Welcome to the show. Tell my audience. Yep, I can hear you good, actually. So, tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Right. Well, my name is Reverend Dan. I'm out in New Jersey, as well as the Anglican. I started out doing paranormal investigations in 1999. We're looking at 26 years of investigating. I've investigated all kinds of cases, private, public. I've been all over the Northeast. I would like to go a little west, but I don't know. I just don't have the fire I had for actually investigating the case right now. They're in the middle of investigation at the moment. So, but I've been doing this for 26 years. I got into the church, which I never thought I would ever be doing. But I got into the church after I had a possession case around COVID. I forget if it was like 2020 or 2021. I think it might have been 2021. And after that ended in an exorcism. But after that case, I kept getting them. And then I started driving around. I would see churches everywhere. My day job is I'm a truck driver, because I don't get paid for any of this. So I would see churches everywhere. It doesn't matter denomination or whatever, just be a church. It could be right next to me. It could be a few miles away down the road, buried in the woods, and to go to seminary. So that's what I did, and here I am today.
Awesome. So, how many exorcisms would you say you have done over the years?
So, what, we got a delay?
I think we do, yeah. I was asking, how many exorcisms do you think you've done over the years?
You were breaking up there, but I think you were asking how many exorcisms?
Yep.
Me, I've only done 3. I've only done 3. Exorcism, actual possession cases are very rare. Only usually 1 in 5,000 cases are an actual possession. So we don't just do exorcisms on demand. We thoroughly investigate it to make sure that there is a reason for an exorcism. And that includes getting a mental health exam, a physical and any other type of exam that we may need you to get. And we need all this because he's under a lot of stress. Your heart's under a lot of stress. Your heart gives out, well, you could die.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want that.
Right.
Psychiatrist saying that they can't find anything wrong with you. And until that's done, no
He's having a lot of internet issues, guys, so just bear with us.
I'm having trouble here. It's just the trouble Wi-Fi thing just popped up again.
Yep, I can hear you. You're breaking up a little bit, but I can hear you.
So.
There you go. You're moving around now. Gotta love the internet.
All right, so can you hear me? Are we back?
Yep, we're back. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I keep freezing. Let me close out this tab. Let's see if that helps. Make sure no tab. No, it should be all right. Should be all right tab wise. So
yeah, you're moving around now.
That is our protocol. We if you don't get us that stuff, we don't do any type of ritual or anything like
right.
that. We'll still try and help you, but you know.
Do you find a lot when you go out there? You find a lot of like drug abuse and alcohol abuse when it comes to cases like that?
Do I what?
Do you find a lot of alcohol abuse and
freezing.
do you find a lot of alcohol abuse and drug abuse in a lot of those cases that you get called out to?
Sometimes there have been cases where we've been requested to investigate. Hang on. I got this playing on my phone, so hopefully maybe then I can hear. Yeah,
Okay.
There are sometimes. I mean, alcohol and drugs are an open door. So there are the like there was one time we went down to for a case. Lady claimed she was seeing demons and being possessed and all that. That case didn't take long to close because there was literally a bowl full of cocaine. We closed that case real quick. It's I mean we get them all the time. I mean I've had them. They're mentally ill. And like I said, mental illness can. So when that happens, we have to distinguish: is this mental or is this actual possession? You know, I
Right.
have different ways that I different tests that I do to see if
Right. Because I know a lot of them deal with schizophrenia, which is an automatic with that disability that they hear voices in their heads as well. So a lot of them interpret it as something possibly demonic talking to them.
yeah yeah
As we've dealt with quite a
this
bit of that too with people with
StreamYard is killing me
schizophrenia.
tonight. But yeah, schizophrenia is a big chunk of our cases. Schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and basically
Mm,
what dissociative identity disorder is multiple personalities.
right.
So somebody will come to us saying that they're being possessed. In fact, I have one of those cases right now that I believe is and Satan, and they'll act like it. It's not hard. It's not hard to find out the symptoms of demonic
Right.
possession. All you gotta
Plus,
do is go on Google now, or AI, even ask AI and Google demonic
right.
possession symptoms, and it'll pop up. So
Right.
people will do that. They'll read them. I've had it happen to me. They'll read them and they'll start acting that way
Right.
until I come in with my tools and I test them, tell them that you're not possessed, you're
Right.
mentally ill, and then they get mad at me and
Right. And that happens too. I mean, we deal with quite a bit of that as well when it comes to that. I mean, we had one girl that was actually faking it just to scare her sister. And when she didn't react to anything of our religious stuff, right then we knew she was faking it because right away that blessed metal she should have reacted to it and she didn't.
stand that kind of stuff. The blessed sacramentals and stuff like that. Usually it's a more higher demons, more higher they are. Like Satan,
Mm-hmm.
Beelzebub, Asmodeus, them kind of guys. They can withstand blessings. They can actually be in the church in the middle of a mess and be okay. So just because they don't react to a blessed sacramental doesn't mean that they're not there.
Right. Well, this case, she actually admitted she ended
Comfort
up.
zone. Don't step out of. If you make the phone call.
Right. And this particular case, I also did some psychological because I also I work with Sister Farrah Rose Deal at Springfield, Missouri here, and I called her and we kind of did like a psychological thing with the girl, and her eyes were asphyxiated right at that door when I was outside it talking, and she kind of knew her goose was cooked, and she actually came out and admitted she was faking it just to scare her sister.
Yeah. In cases like that, you know, I give my my 2 cents in those cases. You know, there's somebody down the road having a heart attack, but you're stuck on a stop because this doesn't want to drive to the hospital.
Right. But she eventually went in and talked with her mom and her sister and admitted what she had been doing. And I guess now she's doing pretty good. They go to church. They're doing good in school now, so everybody seems to be getting along.
That it doesn't mean there's not a demon present necessarily. You know,
Right.
they're always around us. They're always waiting for our waiting for us to make.
Oh yeah, they're crafty.
I
They'll
would
lay in
say
dormant.
that if maybe she was tempted at most to do that, so rule it out. But
right. Yeah, and in the way they lay in dormant, they can lay in dormant for years until they pick their opportunity. They want to wreak havoc.
yeah,
And oh, it looks like we lost them again. Hey Joe, welcome in. Richie, welcome in. Nancy, hello, welcome in. Looks like we got you back.
yeah. I'm gonna see. Let me see something. I'm gonna see if I can get on my phone if the connection might be better. So I'll stay on until it comes on.
All right.
Give me a sec here. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if that works. That working? There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Now we should be able to.
Yeah, I can hear you a lot better.
Yeah. Like I said, StreamYard and I don't get along very well, so.
It has its issues. They just did a bunch of new updates to it and added a bunch of new stuff to it. So
yeah. All right. I'm going to close this out. Where am I here? All right. Close that out. Okay.
there we go.
All right. Let's just turn this up a little bit. Oh, it is up. All right. Well, I don't have the same volume, but at least now you can see me and hear me better.
Yeah, a lot better. But
So,
yeah, I mean, we deal with a lot of the darker stuff like you guys do, and the demonic cases. We're one of the few teams here in Missouri that'll actually go out and deal with it. Not many teams will go out anymore and deal with
mhm.
residential stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's sorry about that. Notification popped up and I hit the wrong button.
That's all right.
Oh, hey, now I can hear you better too. Look at
Yep.
that. All right. So, yeah, there's a lot of teams out there that try to do um, this kind of work, and it's not, I think it's more for show, to be
Right.
honest with you. You know, I tell every investigator, I've had a couple. I had one case that I have going now. In fact, he never called me today. I have to call him back. One case I have now, I got from a team, and their main focus is the spotlight. All they do is they just want to be in the spotlight. They do
Hmm.
events and stuff like that. They get in the
Right.
newspapers and stuff like that. So when they gave me the case, I started asking them questions about it, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know. We didn't investigate it." I said, "Well, then how do you know it's a demon?"
Right.
You know, and they're like, "Well, we don't know." I said, "So this could be just a paranormal case, and you just don't want to deal with it." That's basically what it is. And
Right.
you know, even though I do wear a collar, I am not the most subtle person. And if I feel like you're jerking me around, I'm gonna say something.
Right.
And I mean, this case turned out to be a case of witchcraft on the client's his ex-wife is well, it's a long story, but it's a case of witchcraft. To, and we just can't get a handle on it. It's been going on for 3 years. So, well, at least I've been involved with it for 3 years. It's been going on for 5 years. But you have everybody running around today on YouTube saying this is a demon here, demon this, demon that,
Right.
Annabelle this, Annabelle that.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, half of them YouTubers wouldn't even know what to do if they came face to face with a
Oh
demon.
yeah. Well, it's not just in the paranormal too. It's in the churches as well. You have your mainstream churches, like the Catholic, the Anglican Church.
Hmm.
Well, they're basically the main ones that do deal with this stuff. Usually, generally, it's the Roman Catholic Church. I am trained by the Catholic Church. Um, but you have in the non-denominational sect the reformers, the Reformed Protestants, who call themselves deliverance ministers, but they're
Hmm.
really just showmen. There's a group out there called the Demon Slayers, and they sit there with a microphone going, "Get out, get out, get out, go back to hell." And it's like, really,
Right.
and they hire actors to play um, possessed people. It's
Right.
ridiculous. And then I don't know if you know who Bob Larson is.
Oh yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, he's the biggest fraud of them all.
Right. Yeah. I tend to stay away from a lot of that because you can
You're lucky.
definitely tell just by looking at them like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're phony. You
Mm-hmm.
would- you wouldn't even know what to do if you came up
Yeah.
against one.
Listen, I had a partial possession myself. It's no fun, and that was just a partial. Okay, it broke the minute I crossed the threshold and went outside.
Hmm.
But in between that, it was not fun. I lost complete consciousness. I didn't even know where I was. I woke up upstairs. This was in the orphanage in Gettysburg.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay, and I was provoking the spirit of Rosa Carmichael, who I believe is at least negative. Well, she's definitely negative, but I believe that there's many demons in Gettysburg because of what happened there.
Oh
So much
yeah, all
trauma,
the
and
violent. Yeah.
they're latched onto the trauma. And well, I was provoking her, and I was watching. I literally watched this white mist form around me. And when that happened, I was watching it go in my mouth, in my nose, and all that. And I stood up. All I remember is I stood up, and then I woke up. I realized where I was. I was upstairs. Okay, but it was like I was in a fire, a smoky fire, and I am a fireman. So my fire training kicked in, and I was on the floor looking for a way out. I couldn't find a way out. And the best way to describe it is if you've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, where Jack Sparrow's in that white abyss or whatever it is. That's kind of what it was. And so somebody grabbed me, picked me up, and shoved me outside, and that's when it lifted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was trying to take a hold of me. Obviously, it didn't. Thank God. But and it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. You do not want to be possessed. You do not want to deal with the demon because they are way more intelligent than we are.
Yep.
Think of Albert Einstein and I don't know who's the guy in the wheelchair. Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking.
Okay. Put those two together, and you're still not going to equal the intellect of a demon.
Exactly. I agree. I mean, they know everything about you before you even know anything about them.
Exactly. And they've been studying us for thousands of years since Adam and Eve. In fact, the day when God said, "Let there be light," when the angels were created, that's when they were all created. And then shortly after that, we all know what happened. Adam and Eve, they fell. Satan, Lucifer and Michael battled, and the rest is history.
Right.
And so they're always around us, watching us, studying us. They can't read our minds, but they can predict what our next move is going to be.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying earlier, they can lay in dormant for years until they decide they want to come out and play.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I mean, we had a case up in upstate New York, and this was about I don't know, about 10 minutes from the Canadian border. And there was a 15-year-old girl who was making offerings to Lucifer during COVID. And she was going to a metaphysical shop, and they were deceiving her, telling her to do all this.
Mm-hmm.
So my chief investigator and we went up there. It was him and his wife and me. We went up there, and we were investigating in her room, in her bedroom, where she had her altar to Lucifer. And the altar wasn't there when investigated. Her parents figured out what was going on and freaked out and got rid of the altar and called us. But while we were in there, we heard a massive growl. And I had headphones on, hooked up to my recorder, and I was listening to the EVPs live, and I heard this. We picked it up on the recording too, and all that. Well, it turns out that she was making offerings to Lucifer. So before we knew all this, we decided the family wanted the kids to be baptized. I think 2 of the 3 kids weren't baptized at the time, and her being one of them. So I'm in the middle of the baptismal rite, and she starts laughing, and it's this evil, demonic type laugh.
Mm.
And then I was talking about Father Gabriel Amorth, and she's fighting back about it. Like I just mentioned his name, and she went off, in a tangent. So right there, we knew that there was a problem there. Our problem was they were 5 hours from us, so we couldn't give it the attention that it needed.
Right.
So we had to defer it to. In fact, the Roman Catholic Church up there actually finished the case and did the exorcism. So
that's good that they were able to help that family and that girl.
Yep.
I hate to see it when kids get impacted with stuff like that and get misled down that dark road.
Yeah, they always will. Kids will always be the first ones to go after because they're the most innocent.
Yep.
I believe I think it was Malachi Martin, Father Malachi Martin. His one of his final cases was a 4-year-old girl. And they immediately knew once she started speaking Latin. I mean, what 4-year-old can speak Latin fluently?
Right.
You know, so
That sounds like one of my cases. We had this client, he was actually dabbling in the witchcraft and he was doing
mhm.
all this stuff on the internet, researching all this stuff. Well, he didn't know that he was actually impacting his house with it.
Yeah.
And he had a black dog. He sent me a video of it. It was a black dog in his backyard coming up to his door and it had glowing red eyes. And his whole backyard is fenced in. There's no dog that can even get in there.
Yeah.
And then,
Oddly enough, I've seen that. Not in a case, but I've seen that. There's an old saying. There's an old trucker's tale that when you get tired of driving, you're tired. You're driving for long hours.
mhm,
You see the black dog. They actually made a movie about it with Patrick Swayze and Meatloaf.
okay,
But it it is true. I've seen it, and I know many other guys who've seen it as well, and stuff. So it just proves that Satan's out there just waiting for us, to make that mistake or to be tired and make that mistake and come in. That's why I tell everybody, it doesn't matter if you're an investigator, if you're an investigator for the church, or if you're a priest, or whatever. If you're not feeling good, you're not 100%, do not go.
exactly. I
Cancel
agree.
it, reschedule. You know?
Yep, and this guy, he had a lot of medical issues from an accident that he had. He was on a lot of medication, and
Yeah.
that night when we investigated, one of my investigators was running a spirit box, and we kept getting all this like mocking religious music, Latin chanting, and then these demonic laughs across the spirit box. So I turned mine on to see if maybe the thing was malfunctioning or something, or we're getting interference in it. And when I turned mine on, mine was actually working normal like it should be.
Yeah.
So I sent that audio off to Farah, my demonologist mentor, and she said, "Burn it, get rid of it, destroy that. You do not need that played or getting out anywhere."
I'm not a big fan of burning objects, just because the smoke can be cursed, and the smoke's gonna
Right?
go
Yeah.
everywhere. So I have a storage unit full of objects, and there's only two people that have keys to it and know where it is, and that's me and my wife. And so once they get in there, they get blessed, and they sit there for eternity, or at least until I decide to do something with it.
Yep. That's the
Um,
safest place for him is under lock and key.
yeah, everybody, the Roman Catholic Church says to burn it, but again, the smoke is cursed. Now, if you want to be like, you want to go to Nevada or something on the border of California and wave the smoke that way towards California, that's your prerogative.
Right.
or even New York City. New York City, you could do that too. You know, but just so everybody knows, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just making a joke.
Right. What would
But
you, if anybody wanted to dispose like of a Ouija board, what would you suggest as far as that?
um, get it blessed, and um, I mean, you can give it to the Roman Catholic Church, and they can do their thing with it. Everybody's opinion is different.
Mhm.
Me personally, I kind of go with the opinion, if it's in my possession, it's off the streets. Similar to the way, like the police with firearms. If
Right.
it's in their possession, nobody can get hurt. Um, so I mean, you can do basically whatever you want. You can send it to me. PO Box 201 at Highbridge, New Jersey 08829. You can send it to the Roman Catholic Church. Send it to John's office. I mean, there's. I think I heard you say that you sent something to the Warrens.
Yeah.
On a different episode.
Yep, I've got stuff in the Warrens Museum, and I've also got stuff in John's Office's museum.
So we'll see what you sent to the Warrens Museum at some point on YouTube.
Probably, yeah. You'll see. They got some of my haunted dolls that I collected from a location. These dolls were actually, whatever was attached to them was terrorizing a blind lady.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I remember you saying. I was watching some of your videos, and I remember you saying something about that.
And we took them when the Warrens Paracon was out in Gettysburg. We took them out there and handed them off to Dan Rivera to get them out of our hair. I don't keep them at my house either. If I can get rid of them, they're gone.
Yeah, our case manager has stuff at her house, and I keep telling her to get rid of it because it affects her. It affects them, I should say, and stuff. In fact, she just got rid of an attachment 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
And yeah, she came over. She went to Florida, investigated Robert the Doll.
Oh, okay.
He was taking pictures and stuff, and actually the video that she sent, she put it on YouTube. I don't know if she took it down because I told her to take it down. But you can actually see the point where the demon actually went into her in the video. So there's it's hold on a second. I'm looking for a video here that I want to tell you about. Because you were saying something about chanting music. No, it's not that one. Where is it? There it is. So there's a Gregorian chant called 12 Hours of Exorcist Approved Gregorian Chants. I use that all the time on cases.
Okay.
And stuff. So if you're ever looking for something like that, use that if you want to. You'll get a reaction.
Okay.
Trust me, you'll get a reaction. Just watch you don't get something flung at your head, though.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know Wade Kirby. He uses that when they had the Warrens Museum at the conventions they did. He would let that play throughout the museum.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I don't know if I believe all that though. I mean, the whole Annabelle thing. I know for a fact that they had multiple Annabelles. Because I think there's proof that Lorraine Warren even said that to a reporter. So I think the whole thing is just a hoax, just to make money. With that, that's my opinion. As well as one case I have now, he went to Tony Spera looking for help, and Tony Spera blew him off.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that the whole team blew him off. Because they didn't want to deal with it. All they cared about was the money. And again, that's my opinion. But I think the whole thing is a scam. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I'm related to him, so I don't get in the middle of all that. I try to stay out of that.
To who? Tony?
Yeah, I'm related to the Warrens.
Oh, okay. How are you related?
I'm related to Ed Warren. My dad and I are.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yep. We're cousins to Ed and John and both Johnson brothers.
Jeez. It's almost like me. My wife is related to half of the Highbridge Fire Department in New Jersey here. So,
and most of it is like with the Johnson brothers are tied into our relation to Lizzie Borden.
Are they really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I
We're
mean,
all
listen, I have my opinion. Though I'm neutral when it comes to the Warrens. I think it was a different time.
right.
I've heard all the stories. I've heard all the counterclaims and all that. It was a different time. I'm sure they took liberties back in the day. I mean, they didn't have the internet, you know,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they could take liberties. And if that's what they did, that's what they did. But, at the same time, they were getting results.
Yep.
So, I mean, my opinion is I stay neutral because one, I don't want to deal with it, but at the same time, I'm not going to bash somebody who can't defend themselves. You know,
Right.
I'm not like a get haunted person.
Right.
So,
But yeah, I mean, plus even back then they didn't have the technology like we do now that we use all
mhm,
this groundbreaking equipment and
yeah. Well, back then it was a lot easier to prove demonic possession than it is today.
right.
'Cause like I said earlier, you can go on the internet, look up demonic possession symptoms, and just start acting like it. I actually had a case that happened hours south of me, down where was it? You ever hear of Cape May,
Yep.
Wildwood,
Yep.
that area? It was around there, and so that's like almost actually that's more like an hour and a half from me. I went all the way down there, and I'm texting this kid, and I say kid because he was like, in his early 20s, you know, and I'm testing this kid, and he's failing every test. So I think I had like $5 or $10 in my pocket, and when I go on a case, well, actually, it's when I go anywhere, I carry chapstick. Um, I carry a keychain of medals. Okay. So I got
Mhm.
Divine Mercy medal. I got the crucifix. I got the miraculous medal. I got Saint Michael, Saint Benedict, Saint Joseph on here, all blessed and all that, as well as I carry a rosary in my pocket. Okay. So I asked him. I said, Tell me what is in my pocket." He couldn't do it. I said, "All right. Tell me something you don't. Tell me something that only I would know
Mhm.
about me." And he looked at me and goes, "You're an asshole?" I said, "No, everybody knows that." you know, but it's just like, and then from there on, he would go on like every Facebook page that had to do with exorcism, trying to get somebody to give him an exorcism. And I would have to burst his bubble and shut him down,
Right.
because he's going to get himself hurt. So
Yep.
it's amazing the amount of people that just want the attention.
Right.
And this is not the way to do it. Researching the occult is not the way to do it. If you want to research the occult, read the Bible. That's all
Right.
you need to do. Read the Bible. You know, don't go sitting there look with the Satanists and all that. Don't get into the um I can't think of the guy's name now. Uh, well, don't get into any cults. Just don't do that. Read the Bible, and
Right.
it'll tell you everything you need to know. Study the Bible, study theology. It'll tell you everything to know. I don't know everything. Okay, I learn new things every day.
Yep.
I I know, my bishop's been doing this 50 years. He's still learning things. So I mean, it's nobody knows everything. The only one who knows everything is God.
Right.
So
That's what I even tell the investigators too. I was like, we learn something new every time we go out. We're
mhm.
not experts in this field.
No, there is no experts. 'Cause every case presents differently.
Yep.
Every demon is different. Every ghost is different. I think I heard one of your guests was talking about seeing a girl around a tree or children around a tree in a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to watch out because a demon will show itself as a child to
Right.
get you to lower your guard, and then it's going to walk right in.
Right.
In fact, there was an episode, Legion of Exorcists. That's exactly what happened. They portrayed it as that. The kid knocked on the door, pretending to be cold. Kid opened up the door, spirit walked in and disappeared.
Yep.
It's an open door.
I actually remember Bishop Rita talking about that.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was her or somebody else, but I remember the story.
Yeah, I think she talked about it, and then I think Father Sean did too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's if you can get out of it, get out of it.
Right.
Don't go searching for this stuff. It's not fun to deal with, trust me.
No. And I mean, that's like the ones that do it for the thrill seeking of it. You're going into these places with no prior history. You don't know what's there. Especially like your prisons. Like Missouri State, for instance, is like a hotbed of violence. It's the bloodiest 47 acres of Missouri. If you're new to it, you don't know what's in there. You're better off just, if you're going to do it, go with somebody that's experienced that can recognize that stuff before you jump into it.
Yeah, well, I blame the paranormal shows, paranormal TV, now YouTube, and all these event companies. These event companies like Get Haunted and Third Eye, whatever the hell they are. It brings out the curiosity.
Right.
And the more curious you are, the more you're going to look into these things. You're going to look into New Age practices, tarot, witchcraft, mediumship, seances, all open doors.
Yep.
And you may feel great, you may get what you want, but guess what? Eventually, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to pay that debt.
Yep.
And then you're going to be calling for a priest, calling me or somebody else and saying, I need an exorcism. I'm possessed.
Right.
I mean, it's uncanny because it's not just around here; it's everywhere. I mean, the Order of Exorcists, we're global. We're in like 32 countries, something like that. 24 countries, something like that.
I know you guys are out there. I follow the bishop.
Yeah, and he's, it's everywhere, and it's just uncanny. I just can't believe that so many people want attention, and this is how they're doing it.
Right.
Or they're becoming YouTubers, like Sam and Colby and all these other idiots that are out there calling everything a demon, or like the Paranormal Files. That guy pisses me off. I saw a video of him that he just put out. He labeled it "Exorcism of Annabelle." When I went to go watch it, he must have taken it down, or it must have got taken down, or something. But like, unbelievable. I was really hoping he was going to try because I was just going to laugh. Right. I was just going to laugh. I'm sorry to say that, but it's getting to that point where the paranormal's become laughable.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch the paranormal YouTubers.
I try not to, but somehow they end. It's because I watch talks by priests and exorcists and stuff like that. It filters its way through, and every once in a while I'll click on it if I'm bored, and then I end up shutting it off 5 minutes later because I'm fed up with it.
Right. Yeah, me too. I mean, there's that one that you see him flying out of the bed. I think his name is CJ, I believe. He's got that house in Delaware, and he posts a caption, "Oh, demon attacked us while staying in the farmhouse," and it shows he made like a little picture of him flying off a bed.
Yeah. And there's actually one of the Warrens cases. in Europe, England. Um,
The Enfield, the
yeah,
Enfield
Enfield.
poltergeist.
Yeah, that I've seen that. I've seen that picture, and I got to say, it looks like she's jumping off the bed. I can't say that's a levitation.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that was Morris Gross that took that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to give the benefit of the doubt. But in that situation, it looks more like she's jumping off the bed.
Right.
Sorry to burst anybody's bubble, but that's what that's what it is. Because that's my job. I have to be the skeptical one. I have to try and disprove all this before I can say yes.
Right.
She levitated, or she's possessed, or something like that. I mean, there are times where I had a case where I walked in, the demon came out and told me to get out. I didn't even put my bag down. I literally walked in. 2 minutes,
Right.
I was there. Right then and there, I knew that was a real case.
Right. And that's what I tell people too, even with the demonic. When you walk into a house, you're going to know if it's something demonic. You're going to feel it because it knows why you're there and what you're going to do. And
well, well, let's put it this way: if I'm around, you're not going to feel it. they hide from me, which is why I'm not at the case tonight, because I influence this stuff.
Right.
We've actually done investigations on cases where I've been present on the case and we got nothing. We went back a couple weeks later without me, and we've got a whole recorder full of EVPs.
Mm-hmm.
So is it? I mean, I know the paranormal. Nothing's guaranteed, but at that point, you got to kind of look at it as there's something there. Just checking my battery.
Right.
Probably on 20%, but this plugged in, right? Yes. Okay. Make sure my phone's plugged in.
Like for us, when we walk in, if we have to deal with something like that, for like me, I can feel that like intense heaviness and pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like I'm being pulled into walking through mud, like real thick mud.
Yeah.
Type of feeling.
Yeah.
Compared to where
the one case, the witchcraft case I was telling you about earlier, I was up in their bedroom, and it's one of the only experiences I've had in that house. Everybody else has had experiences. It's only one I've had. And I felt this cold rush of wind go right by me in the bedroom. And it was in the middle of winter. So they had the heat on. The heat was like set to 70, 75, something comfortable. But this was like an ice cold wind. And I was in the hallway. So there was no windows whatsoever.
Right.
So, at that point I had to rule it out as, that had to been something. So, and I've left with things from there, and they still, in fact, all of last month I was sick. And that's because I was going to do a minor rite on the son, and he told his ex-wife, and all of a sudden I got sick. Every time I tried to go do it, I kept getting sick, to the point where I was throwing up. I mean, I don't throw up. I very rarely throw up. The last time I threw up before this, I was drunk.
Right.
So it's unnatural for me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when they know what you're gonna do, they're gonna attack you and drain you and make you sick, so you don't come out to do it.
Yep.
And they're crafty when it comes to that. If they know what you're coming.
Yep. That's why I tell everybody, pray your rosary.
Yep.
Pray a rosary. A rosary a day keeps the devil away.
Yep. I agree. My dad
and if you're lucky, it might keep your teacher away too.
My dad and I, we wear Saint Benedict's medals and Saint Michael, and Farah sends them to us that are blessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have to with this work. I mean, there's been times where I've just been out in public and I've had to pull this out,
Right.
Out of my pocket just because somebody was showing, and I'm not gonna do something in the middle of the mall or whatever. Let's not go back
Right.
how far back I go, but but if somebody's there, I'm gonna kick it out, just so we can go somewhere else.
Right.
So
I know the one case we worked, the girl, she actually had an upside down cross get scratched into her neck while we're standing there looking at her.
really, wow.
And my one member was actually holding her by the hands because she started freaking out. And she kept saying, it's mine. I don't want him to leave. Eyes rolling in the back of her head. And then that upside down cross appeared on her neck. And then right after that happened, she snapped out of it and didn't even remember what went on. Nothing. She had no recollection of anything.
So what'd she do? Invite it in?
No, she had past trauma in life.
Ah, okay.
And the mom was practicing Santeria and stuff like that. So with her past history, it actually messed with her, and it must have been following her since she was a kid. And then it finally picked that time to do its duties. I mean, it was bad that when we went there, she was filling out our paperwork, and something was actually manipulating her to write stuff. It wasn't her writing.
See, now in that case, you would have every right, or the priest would have every right there just to do a solemn rite, because there's you have moral certainty versus somebody who comes off the streets or comes from like one of these non-denominational churches saying that they're possessed. You don't need, if you have moral certainty, you don't need to have them go through all the doctors and all that.
Yeah.
You have moral certainty. Just like if you're talking to somebody starts levitating off the ground, well, unless they're Superman, that's not normal. You know? So right there, you have moral certainty just to go right into the right. So, I mean, there have been cases where I have done there. The one case when I walked in and the demon told me to leave, I went right there. I went, and even then, I didn't even do a solemn rite. I did a minor rite. I read the Leo the 13th prayer over her, and I was having success with that. So I just kept doing that over and over, versus going to the solemn rite.
Right.
And I was able to kick it out with the Leo the 13th prayer. I mean, that's a powerful prayer.
It took about 6 months, and everything went back to normal. She goes to church now, and
good.
We're like family to her. She invites us over for dinner, and because I mean, her marriage was actually going in turmoil. She wanted to kill her husband, and the guy's one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. He's a firefighter, paramedic, and he's gone like weeks at a time working. So
yeah. Well, Revelation says that Satan's going to attack. Satan's going to attack the marriage.
Yep.
It's the first thing they go after, unless it's a kid.
Right.
I've had those feelings. I've gotten those feelings too with my wife, and well, I can blame it on the devil sometimes, but sometimes she just pisses me off.
Right.
But I know better. I know when it's a spirit manipulating myself or her versus, just being pissed off because she did something that I didn't like. I can tell. Granted, my house is blessed. I have the chapel, my private chapel here and stuff where I hold private masses and stuff like that. So my house, my property, all that is blessed. In fact, I'm trying to secure funding so I can build a small chapel on the other end of my property here.
Oh, nice.
So, because the church I use is an hour and a half from me, so it gets to be a little overwhelming sometimes when I have to schedule cases for exorcism and stuff. So it'd be nice where I can just walk out my door into the chapel and I'm there.
Right.
I don't have to start my truck and waste gas.
There you go.
Especially when I get out there and find out that the person's not stopped talking to me and they're not coming and all that. So
right. Which that'll definitely be handy than having to travel.
Yeah. Yep. Plus it open. This is my basement right now. I'm still in the process. I don't know if you can see the rafters above me or not, but I'm still in the process of working on it and stuff. But I just I want to put some recessed lights in here and close off the rafters here and stuff. But it's a work in progress.
Yeah, it takes time. I'm redoing my basement as well. We had a flood in my basement, and they had rooms in here, and all the drywall got wet and got ruined, and I had to rip everything out.
Yeah, I got mice.
Yeah.
I got mice. My house is a 300-year-old farmhouse, and there's nothing but cornfields around me. So they come in. Yeah. Now that it's cold, they're all coming in. I mean, we got traps set out and stuff, but no matter what we do, we can't figure out where they're coming in from. Although we have an idea now. So
yeah, they're crafty little devils. I get them once in a while in my house because my neighbor behind me, he's a cattle farmer. He's got Black Angus cows, and we've got bean fields and corn fields, and so
the farmer down the street, he's got cows and horses and stuff. So and he's got cats, so they push the mice up this way, up the hill.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
I keep telling them, how much to rent your cats.
Right. Yeah, I get a couple strays that show up here, and I'll feed them just to keep them around, just to keep the mice under control.
That's what we do. That's what we do. In fact, it's funny. I have Bilko doors. I opened the Bilko doors one day, and there was this huge snake in there. It scared the living crap out of me because I wasn't expecting it to be there. Now I don't like snakes. I don't like snakes. Okay, I'm not too fond of them. Let's put it that way. Okay. When I was younger in 5th grade, I went to a camp and they put a boa constrictor around me and they couldn't get it off because it was starting to squeeze. So right then and there, I didn't like snakes. But this thing was long and it was pretty thick. And I looked at it and I'm like, not today, Satan. Beat it. I haven't seen it since.
Right.
So now it's probably too cold.
You would hate Missouri. They've got them big black rat snakes that get over about 12 to 13 feet long.
Yeah, that's what this was. He wasn't that long. I'd say he's probably good, maybe 3 foot, 2-3 foot long. So, but yeah, that's what this was.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, you should leave him. He eats the mice. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want Satan in my house, let alone on the property.
Right.
I can live with the mouse.
Ours get probably about that big around.
Yeah, it's about the size he was. So.
They actually eat other snakes as well too. I learned that they'll kill and eat rattlesnakes and.
Yeah. Well, we don't have rattlesnakes up here, up in Jersey. If we do, they're probably in the Pine Barrens.
Oh, you're lucky. We got them. We got 3 different types here in Missouri.
Nice.
We've got you got your Eastern Diamondback, then we've got the Timber Rattlers, and then we've got the Hognose Rattler.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes.
But since I've moved here in 2012, I have yet to see a rattlesnake near my house. So,
it's funny if you bless your property, you bless your house, you'll never see one.
Right.
Because after that, I bless my house. I put the Epiphany blessing on my house, and I haven't seen it since. Could it be coincidence? Maybe, but
right.
Who knows?
Well, that's like I noticed with your demonic presence. people tend to get roaches and stuff like that they never had before, and
yeah, it's weird. Hang on one second. My phone is starting to die here because I don't know why. Okay. Why is this not charging? I guess it's charging, so I guess as long as it's charging, I still have battery.
all right.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Call that coincidence? Who knows? But
Right.
I like to say it's God keeping an eye on us. I mean, believe me, there have been times. If it wasn't for God, and this was back before I got into the church. I left the church for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was younger, I really didn't care to go to church very often. You know, I went to CCD, did all my sacraments and all that. You know, but I really didn't want to be in church. I didn't find it interesting.
Right.
Fast forward 35 years later, now I find it interesting. You know, but you know, after my mom died in 2015. So she's actually the 10-year anniversary just passed not that long ago. But after that, I stopped going completely. You know, because my thought was, if God was so good, then why would He allow
Right.
bad things to happen?
Right.
I didn't know the answer to that until I got into all this. So I stopped going to church completely. I even sat in church before she died. I sat in the church for hours because I was in, I guess you would say, like a dark night of the soul type issue. And you know, I just said to God, I said, look, you know, I'll follow you, but you know, I don't know where to go from here. You know, how do I do this? You know, show me a sign. Well, that sign, it was my mom died. Later on down the road, you know, what was it, 2020 or so, 6 years later, is when I realized that sign was for me to become who I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that my mom died, but you know, at least I hope she's in heaven, you know, with the rest of my family and stuff.
Right.
I mean, my dad just died last year. My grandparents just died at the beginning of this year.
No, sorry for your losses.
Thanks. But it's, you know, it's life. Well, my father was kind of a screw up with the nursing home, but that they refused to fix, that they refused to acknowledge. But I won't get into that.
Yeah, I lost my mom in 2018.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Cancer took her, and
oh, that. Listen, if I'm gonna go, if it's my time to go, just let me go. I don't want to have cancer. I don't want to suffer all that. You know, I was an EMT for 20 years. Okay, I've seen the way people suffer. I've seen cancer patients suffer. It sucks.
Yep.
It sucks. Now, granted, our citizenship is not on this earth. Our citizenship is in heaven.
Yep.
So, suffering is part of how you get to heaven. You know, look at St. Faustina in the Divine Mercy Message.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a whole book about her suffering, and she's a saint today. You know, so, okay, suffering is good, but it's hard to watch somebody suffer, like with cancer.
Yep.
You know, because they're sick. You know, they can't move one day. You know, and the next day they feel fine. You know, it's really hard. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, it is.
But when you look at it from a godly point of view, you know that when they pass, they're going to be at peace.
Yep.
So that's like with kids too. You know, you see kids with cancer or kids that pass away young and stuff that way. You know, you know where they're going.
Yep.
You know they're going to be in heaven. You know, so I guess it's a glass half full type of situation.
Yep.
You know.
And even my cousin Ed Warren believed that about children when they pass away, that they go strictly to heaven. They don't remain here.
Well, children are innocent, you know, up to a certain age, of course.
Right.
You know, once they start making their own decisions and they start doing stupid stuff.
Yep.
You know, I mean, there's a priest in the Marian community, Father Donald Calloway. You know, his story is interesting. You know, I mean, he was one of those badass kind of guys or badass kids, you know, dropped out of school, running drugs for the Japanese mafia and stuff, got literally thrown out of Japan by the government, you know, and look at him today. Today he's been a priest for like 20 something years. You know, he turned his life around and all that. So, you know, more power to him.
Right.
And so, you know, it just shows that you can be the biggest screw up in the world and God will still forgive you.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you can murder, look at the prisons. You know, you can murder somebody, do your time, confess what you did, God will forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same way with demonic entities too. You know, you go to confession, you confess your sins, they'll just fall right off.
Right.
You know, they can't hold it against. They can't hold your sins against you if in confession. You know, there's been cases. I think I believe it was Father Lampert was talking about exorcism he was doing, and I guess he forgot to confess something, or he didn't get the confession, or something like that, and the demon started calling out his sin. So he stopped the exorcism, confessed, and the demon came back, and the demon couldn't figure out, you know, didn't know what his sin was.
Right.
You know, so let that be a lesson. Go to confession. First thing I tell people, go to confession. Go to the Catholic Church. Now it's a little bit harder when you're a Reformed Protestant. You're sitting there, you know, refuting everything. You know, and I mean, I got a whole list of notes here that, you know, I've taken, and I've just from watching all these Protestants. There's one guy, he claims he's not a Catholic hater, but man, he goes after the Catholic Church hard, you know. But it's all in here,
right?
It's all in here.
I know Baptists do too. They're not fond of the Catholic Church either.
Yeah. No, you know, and I mean, listen, I'm in the Anglican Church, but make no mistake, I'm Catholic. You know, my bishop in the Anglican Church allows me to do things Catholic. You know, the only thing I have to do is the liturgy in the Anglican tradition. That's all they ask. So, and I can mix in a little bit of the Catholic liturgy with the Anglican liturgy. So, but you know, I've seen these things work with the Catholics. Okay, the exorcism is Catholic. It's 1614. Okay, and probably before that, you know, I mean, Jesus was doing it in his day. So you're looking at, what are we, 2025, 2025 years of exorcisms and knowledge and rituals, and, you know, all of that. I mean, why wouldn't you go to the Catholic Church? You know,
right?
And it's almost laughable to some of these other denominations that don't believe in, but sit there and say, "Oh, well, we do deliverance."
Right?
Really? You do deliverance? Okay. Have you ever seen a real demon? Or have you seen the Bob Larson demon? You know, it's, you know, I have friends in different denominations. I have friends in Baptist churches and you know, other Protestant denominations, and you know, they're always like, "Oh, come on over here, come on over here." No, I'm good. I'm gonna stay where I know the truth is, and I know what works.
Right.
You know. Because they're always calling me, asking me for advice. You know, what do I do here? What do I do this? Well, if you listen to what I tell you, you know, this might not happen to you.
I worked with this one guy, and they were doing a church revival, and they set up across from a Satanist house. Now, the Satanist, he's in prison for murder, so they set up across the street, and they started playing their religious church music, and they're Baptists. And he was telling me there was an antenna standing straight up on the roof, and that antenna bent and pointed right at them.
I believe it.
Him and his crew, they go over there with their anointing oils and their stuff, and they're sealing the windows and the doors from the outside. And he's telling me this. I said, how do you know that if there was a demonic entity in there that bent that antenna over, how do you know he didn't come out already? Because you've already provoked him by playing your music.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how do you know he didn't go home with you because you have a newborn at home?
Yep.
And he couldn't answer it.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I cast things out all the time of my house. My son has nightmares and stuff, and you know, I'm always blessing his room, casting stuff out of his room, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, you don't know. That's the whole thing. And I tell investigators this all the time, paranormal investigators, and they all think I'm an asshole because I'm telling them, don't do this. You know, and I'm not saying everything is a demon. That's not what I'm saying. You know, because even the apostles believed in ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what did they say when Jesus was walking on the water? They thought he was a ghost.
Yep.
So, but you don't know what you're talking to. You could be talking to a demon posing as your grandmother.
Yep.
And you wouldn't even know it until it's too late. Until later on down the road when you're possessed.
Right.
You know, but nobody in the paranormal listens anymore. Everybody thinks they know it all. Yeah. You know, I think I heard you say you've been doing this for like what, 30 years or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you come from Ed Warren's line and stuff. I've been doing it 26 years. I've seen, you know, as Ernie Hudson says, shit that'll turn you white.
Yep.
You know.
Right. We have too, and that's even like the ones that think Ouija boards are fun to play with. I mean, you don't know. You think you're communicating with a dead friend, or you're thinking you're talking to a spirit named Fred, and you may not actually be talking to Fred.
Yeah.
Fred may be something else, and then the parent comes in and catches you playing with that Ouija board. Oh, I don't want this in my house, and that door is open.
Yep. And then now your house is infested with demons.
That's like the ones that do mirror scrying that think it's fun to mirror scry.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, again, you know, I do go to some paracons and stuff like that. In fact, the last one I was at, I had some lady come up to me and she goes, "I'm a chaos witch." I said, "That's nice. I'm a priest." And she turned around and walked away. And I'm like, "Really? Like, you're gonna come up to me and say that?"
Right.
Yeah.
Them paracons, we do them too as well, and the different energies that float around that place and different types of people you see, you know, which you can actually feel which ones to stay away from. Don't go near them.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, God, well, I haven't been as active in the paranormal in the last 5 or 6 years as I used to. Maybe more like 8 years as I used to be. But when I was active, I mean, you could tell. Even I used to be good friends. I don't know if you know Pam and Steve Barry.
Yep.
Okay, I used to be good friends with them. I mean, I'd sleep at their house. You know, we'd be out in Gettysburg like every other weekend at their house. You know, and then just something changed, and they became assholes. You know, and it got to the point of at the Gettysburg Bash, I got into a tussle with one of their vendors. because he threatened to kill my wife. Okay. Well, sorry, but yeah, you're threatening to kill my wife. I'm going to kick your ass. And excuse my French. I know it's weird. I know it's weird saying, collar and that language, but I'm going to defend her.
Right.
And so I got in this guy's face, and he got in my face. I mean, it was more like he was looking nose to chin because he was like 4 foot nothing, whatever. And Steve didn't like that. And while I was in the demonology lecture, he was chewing out my wife, and my wife had no idea what was going on. I come out, my wife is crying. So at that point now I'm enraged because you don't go attacking my wife for no reason,
right?
And all that. And then Steve tried to corner me, and well, it didn't work out very well for him. But since then, my name comes out of their mouth all the time. In fact, they even tried to put a curse on me.
Oh, jeez.
And the only reason I know that is because I had a friend who spotted the curse. I mean, the curse. They opened up a portal in my toilet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. They failed the curse, but they opened up a portal in my toilet. So we just left. We left it. It was open for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before I closed it. But it's things like that. Over something stupid.
Right.
Everybody's out to get each other, and it's when I started this 26 years ago, it was fun.
Yeah.
You make friends. You call your friends. Hey, let's go ghost hunting this weekend. You pay half for a location like the Hinsdale House or White Hill Mansion, whatever, and you go up there for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And investigate. And it was fun. Now it's just like everybody's trying to kill each other.
Yeah, it's a lot of drama, a lot of bullies in this field. We've been victims of it. We've dealt with it quite a bit as well, too. Yeah. And you get people that want to work with you. You start working with them, and then when they get what they want from you, they turn around and they stick the knife in your neck, and then, oh, you're no good, and they want to rap about you, and it's just ridiculous.
That's exactly what happened with Pam and Steve. They got what they wanted out of us, and all that, and they did it to everybody in their circle. Like they have a whole new circle every few years because that's what they do. I mean, they actually got thrown out of Gettysburg. They were tossed out of Gettysburg, and because they tried to screw Mark Nesbitt over.
Okay, yep, I know Mark.
Yeah, so I mean, I lost a lot of friends, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth it.
No, it's not. Because those are the types of people that the demons latch onto.
Yep.
And if they're going to be negative, then they're going to be coming after you, and they're going to be, trying to hurt you in any way they can, financially, emotionally, whatever, because they want to bring you down with them.
Yep.
That house that they own, that house that they supposedly own, they don't own that. They don't own that. In fact, all their spirits there, they're all spirit napped.
Right.
So I mean, take it for what you will, and I'm sure I'm going to piss some people off by saying all that, but you know what? It's a warning. It really is. You got to watch your back.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. I mean, like I said, we've been victims of it as well. We've been banned from locations. We've been kicked out of Paracons because of lies about us. And we're, like I tell people, we're not event hunters. We're in it to help people. We do residential mainly. We're doing it to help people. We're not the thrill-seeking type. I mean, yeah, once in a while, it's fun to go out to Waverly Hills or Missouri State just to break up the monotony of cases. But other than that, that's what we're mainly working is residential cases and helping people.
Yeah. You know, I always say there's two types of investigators. There's ghost hunters and then there's paranormal investigators.
Yep.
And the ghost hunters are the ones who are going out to different locations every weekend. And the investigators are the ones who are doing the residential stuff.
Yep.
You know, and even the residential stuff. Excuse me. You know, the residential stuff, there's teams that have no business being in it.
No.
You know, I was talking to Bishop Long at an event, and he told me he had a case. He couldn't get there, so he asked the team to go investigate it. Well, within 5 minutes of them walking in the house, the medium that they had goes, "Oh, there's this many demons here, and they're going to kill your kids."
Jeez.
Before any investigation was even performed, that person said that to the family. So what did the family do? The family went into bankruptcy because they moved out of the house, stopped paying on the house got foreclosed on. They lost all kinds of money because of some medium that can't keep their mouth shut.
Right.
You know. So it's you really got to watch out who you investigate with, who you bring in on investigations, you know, who you allow on your team. I mean, I've had people try to take my team from me, and I'm still here. You know, so I mean, I have a good team now. I mean, I have a good team where I don't have to be at every case all the time.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's just, you know, the demonic is a part of our world, and it's going to be until Jesus comes back.
Yep.
You know, and whether you believe it or not, you have to be prepared. Yep. Especially if you're going to be in the paranormal field, because you're going to run across nothing may happen right now, but you may run across it. I did. I never thought I would be possessed.
Right, and it does happen. I mean, she's a former member now. We were investigating this haunted movie theater that was actually on an episode of Dead Files, and I've actually got a DVR video of her sitting there, and her face starts morphing to somebody else, and she's sitting there digging her own face open with her thumb and not even know she's doing it.
Wow.
And by the time we get out, she feels her face on fire. Look, and she's got 3 scratches down the side of her face.
Wow.
And when I watched the footage, I sent it to her husband, and her husband showed her, and she says, "I'm done. I'm not investigating the paranormal anymore."
Mm-hmm.
That was it for me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, you know, the intellect of a demon, you know, you put Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking together, and you're still not going to match their intellect. You know, so it's not worth going after them, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose in the end. At least temporarily, you're going to lose.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you know, if you die possessed, I mean, nothing says you're going to go to hell, but still, why?
Right.
You know, why? So you can get more views?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's funny because if you actually look at a lot of these YouTubers on the church side and even on the paranormal side,
mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that have the most views are the ones that are usually faking it, or they're you know, they're false teachers, things like that. It's the ones who don't have the followers and stuff like that are the ones that you want to listen to.
Yep.
You know, because, you know, the Bible says the false teachers are coming. You know, and obviously I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the actual verse. I can't remember numbers. I have a hard time remembering numbers. I can remember the story. I can't remember numbers. I don't know why. Right. probably one of the many concussions I had in high school. But Um, I'm re- I, I'm really not Dame damaged, you know. I know I'm not making fun of people who are mentally ill, but um, you know, they're gonna false teachers are gonna cause harm. They're gonna drag. They're If you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to hell because you're listening to a false teacher like Joel Osteen. Everybody knows him. You
Yeah.
know, Isaiah Saldivar, Mike Signorelli, them types of guys. You know, Sam and Colby. You know, doing stupid rituals on their channel. You know,
Mm-hmm.
destroying locations and stuff like that. I mean, those are the types that are going to drag you to hell.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all we can do is warn you.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
Yeah, it's your free will. If you want to follow them, that's your free will. If not, then you use your head, use your discernment.
There's
I didn't pick this role. I didn't pick this role. God did.
Yep.
You know, he put me here, not me, not the other way around. So, I mean, come on, who wants to be an exorcist?
Right.
You know.
And that's like me. I mean, I study the demonology under Sister Farah and Father Bob Bailey and stuff like that. I didn't pick it. It picked me. I mean, going out to help people. It's my calling.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm doing it with the fire department and all that too. You know, I've been doing that for I've been doing, aside from like the past 10 years, I've been doing it for 20 something years.
Right.
You know, I've literally been on fire. There was a time we had a fire one time, and we're searching this room, where the fire room. It was a room and contents fire, or started out as a room and contents fire, got into the walls, and it was a balloon frame house. So once it got into the walls, it just shot up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in this bedroom, and we're on our knees doing a search and all that. And the guy behind, my partner behind me, said the fire came out from the closet and lit the tail of my jacket, my turnout jacket, on fire, like it was trying to grab it. And all I felt was him smacking me in the butt, trying to put the fire out. You know, I turned around. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "You were on fire." I'm like, "I was?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, never knew it. Didn't even know it." But he said it like reached out for me and lit my jacket on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've tangled with the devil in many ways.
Yeah.
Not just in an exorcism.
Right. And like again before, they know what you're trying to do, so they're going to try to stop you any which way they can. And then they know if you got rid of them once before, any place you go, they're gonna attack you. Like Bishop Rita says, they got our wanted posters in hell.
Yeah, and that's why you never see any firemen in hell either.
Yep.
Because all we're gonna do is put the wet stuff on the red stuff.
Right.
And we're gonna put Satan's fire out real quick.
Right. Like me, I work in a school as a maintenance and custodian, so I work with the kids and everything in there. So
yeah, you don't want to bring that to them.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Nope.
Definitely not.
I mean, I see a lot of the troubled kids, like the troubled teenagers. You can tell they're going down the darker roads. And
the sad thing is about that is I see that more and more these days than I have in the past. But a lot of it has to do with the parents. You know, the parents they don't raise the kid. You know, they let the TV do it. Or I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, my wife and I are guilty of it too. You know, we stick him in front of the TV or give him his iPad or whatever, you know, and stuff. But at the same time, we do keep an eye on what he's doing, what he's watching, and stuff like that. most parents don't. You know,
Right.
so these kids are going out and getting in trouble with the cops and stuff like that. I mean, YouTube is filled with videos of kids doing stupid stuff, and the
Yep.
cops trying to stop them, and they're disrespecting the cops. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, if we disrespected a cop, granted, my uncle was a cop, my grandparents' neighbors was a cop. You know, I knew all cops growing up, but if we disrespected a cop, we were either getting thrown in the back of their cop car and taken over to the jail,
Yep.
or we were getting our butts fanned.
Yep.
You know? And so,
Yeah, I see it a lot too, even in the schools, on how these kids,
mhm,
they don't want to do their schoolwork. Parents don't make them do it.
yeah. And then they wonder why they grew up and they're losers because they can't get a job. You know, they're working at McDonald's. You know, you want fries with that? I mean, granted, I don't
Right.
have, aside from the seminary, I don't have a college degree. I never went to college. You
Right.
know, and because to be honest with you, what's the point? I know
Right.
people who went to college 4 years, got their degrees and all that, and they're serving burgers at McDonald's.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
I didn't even go to
so,
I didn't go to college either. I went to vocational school, got
yeah,
a diploma in construction and landscaping and plumbing.
hmm yeah, and I went to diesel technician school. You know, I make more money than some people with college degrees,
Right.
with master's degrees. Took me a while, but I'm there.
Right. And I mean, I worked since I was 12. I grew up on a farm, so I grew up farming, and
hmm
I worked with
I had horses growing up, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't grow
worked
up
with
well. I didn't live on a farm, but I grew up, in that environment.
I worked with my dad. My dad was a carpenter, built houses from the ground up. I've worked with him and doing stuff, so
Yeah, you got to give him, if you give him a good work ethic, Satan can't do anything about it.
yeah, exactly.
Because the ones who are the hard workers are the ones that are going to be reading the Bible, going to church, you know, and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
even if they don't read the Bible, they just go to church.
Right.
You know, go get your sacraments. Go to church every Sunday. Receive the Holy Eucharist. Go to confession and stuff like that. I mean, I go to confession every week. I went to confession this morning. In fact, today was first Saturday devotion. So you have your rosary, 15 minutes with Our Lady, Mass, and all that. It all ties in. You wouldn't
Right.
believe you wouldn't believe how this book is so tied into life today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It was written thousands of years ago. Yeah, some things are a little, don't apply or need to change or something like that. But it's situations.
Right.
A lot of situations are the same. So if you read the book, read the manual. This is life's manual right here.
Right.
You know.
Well,
But,
that's also like the ones that they're online taking, that Universal Life Church you see advertised on Facebook constantly. People are taking that paranormal investigators and they're going around claiming they're exorcists now because
mhm.
I've noticed that quite a bit too. People are taking that. That's like the new paranormal thing to take that, and now
Yep.
all of a sudden you're an exorcist when you're
Mhm.
only ordained to do weddings to that church, and that's it.
And even then, that's questionable.
Right.
You
And
know.
I tell people that thing is free. All you have to pay is just to get that little fancy certificate that they give you.
Yeah. I mean, I did that many years ago. I was just looking to make a few extra bucks, doing
Right.
weddings and stuff like that. But once I got into this, I went through the whole gamut and all that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, anybody. I mean, look at freaking Bob Larson made a career out of it.
Yeah.
I think somebody actually asked him what his credentials were and to see them, and he couldn't provide it.
Right.
So it's again, you have to watch what you're doing. I have certs. Like in the Anglican Church, I'm a deacon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm allowed to do. But in the Old Catholic Church, I'm a priest. The Archbishop of the Anglican communion that I'm in, it doesn't matter if you're a priest prior or not. He wants 3 years. He wants you to go through the steps.
Right.
So you go through your postulancy, then you become a deacon, then a priest. So it doesn't matter. So it's kind of weird because one side I'm confecting the Eucharist, the other side I can't.
Right.
It's weird, but again, I went through all the steps. I did the seminary, I did the training. I was appointed exorcist by a bishop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just say, "Oh, I'm an exorcist now." But again, look at the sons of Sceva in Acts 19. They got their butts handed to them by a demoniac because they were not validly ordained and validly appointed exorcists.
Mm-hmm.
What did the demon say to him? The demon said, "Jesus I know, Paul I've heard of, but who are you?"
Right.
And again, it's all written down. There's a rule in EMS. If it's not written down, it didn't happen. Well,
right.
It's all written down. It happened.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what version. Well, I guess it does matter what version. But because the Catholic Church has more books than the Protestant, than the King James and stuff. But Catholic Church is 73, I think. The Protestant had 66 or whatever. But regardless, it doesn't matter. What book you read. Acts 19 is still in there. The story of the sons of Sceva are in there. And they got their butts handed to them. They got their clothes torn off of them, and they were humiliated. And that's what Satan wants to do.
Yep.
He wants to humiliate. He wants to humiliate you to the point where you just give up. A demon cannot kill you. They can mess with your mind and make you think that you're useless, you're worthless, and that you just need to end your life. But they cannot kill you.
Kim Libby says, I have a question, but I'll have to post what's happened in a few posts. I will continue to let you know I'll be saying more.
Well, what's the question?
Go ahead and put your question in chat there, Kim.
Yeah, I can't see the question, and it's kind of small on my phone, but
I'll read it to you when she posts it. But I mean, that's even like the ones running around saying I'm a certified demonologist, and they've taken that college course online.
What's funny? I took that just for shits and giggles, and I was just like, unbelievable,
right?
Unreal.
I did it too, just for the heck of it, just to see.
That was the worst $40 I ever spent.
Right.
I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was reading in that. I was like, unbelievable.
People take that and now they think they're certified demonologists, and then they take that other ministry thing on there, and now they're a certified licensed minister that they can do exorcisms and all that.
Yep.
And I was like, you would know if it came up and bit you in the rear end.
Yeah. Well, like I said, these guys that call themselves the demon slayers and stuff, I guarantee they've never run across a real demon.
Right.
The only demon they ever run across is the ones that are in people's heads.
Yeah.
What was the name of that course? It was like paranormal
Paralearning or something like that.
Yeah, paralearning, something like that.
Yeah.
I think I saw something about exorcism on that.
Yeah, it has I think the non-religion demonology, and then it had advanced scientific theory for paranormal investigators.
Here it is. Diploma in Modern Demonology for Paranormal Investigators. Let's see. So for $44, you can become a demonologist.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to deny that. Let's see. It goes over what demons are, the behavior of demons, possession, attachment, confirming a demonic presence, communication, attachment again, and possession. That's after the introduction, so that's labeled demons. Then we have protection against demons, precautions, cleansings, protective items, summary. And then what's the other one? I got to look around my phone here. Summoning demons. That just says it all right there. Preparation, invocation, and after the ritual. Okay, so why would a demonologist need to summon a demon? I don't know. Maybe one of these, certified demonologists can tell me. And then we have exorcisms. The tradition, ridding a location of a demon, ridding a person of a demon. So now they're teaching you how to perform an exorcism terribly, and ridding an object of a demon. And that's all for a whopping price of $44.
Yeah.
Folks, do not do this. This course is going to get you possessed, killed, hurt. It annoys me when people do this. Let's see. What others? Advanced theory for paranormal investigators, practical ghost hunting, diploma in ghost hunting. I mean, how do you get a diploma for something you can't prove?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, look, now they have spirit photography.
That's new.
Yeah, diploma in spirit photography, visual ITC, and paranormal imaging. Excuse me, Mr. Ghost, can you get under the x-ray machine, please?
Kim posted her question. My husband has a hurt foot that has required home health nurse to come out. I picked up something about her when she first came in. The company she works for also is hospice. The day after she was here, one of our cats had a seizure. He had never done this before. Continue. So there's a part 2 to it.
Well, let's start with that. I mean, if you think that there's something wrong with this person, say something. It goes like emergency services. If you see something, say something. Call the company, say that I get some bad vibes from this person. Can you send somebody else, please? Do it respectfully, so you don't come across as a snob or
Right.
one of those types of people. But if you're really worried about it and the company won't send somebody else, just pray. Pray to God, go to church, bless your house, bless your property, or have a priest come and do it. Some priests will do it. Make sure they're a Catholic priest, not Bob Larson. So I mean, I don't know what the rest of the question is, but that's where I would start. Kind of interested in the spirit photography thing.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Understanding paranormal imaging. What is paranormal imaging? Famous rise of instrumental transcommunication. So, I don't see what ITC has to do with paranormal imaging.
Yeah, because I mean, ITC is more spiritual, spirit communication, spirit boxes and stuff. Because my buddy KD Stafford is part of that ITC community, building boxes and equipment.
Yeah. Oh, look, pareidolia and images. Camera artifacts and sensor noise, lens flare, light streaks, debunking common anomalies. The chances of you actually catching something on a image is like almost like a possession.
Right.
I mean, I have caught stuff. In Gettysburg is one time. This was years ago. I mean, this was way before I got into the paranormal. You know, we were actually out in the middle of the night in battlefield. That was back when you could sneak around the battlefield, and all that. But we were out by Spangler Spring, and I was just being a complete douche to the Southern soldiers. And I was calling out this Southern general, Confederate general, and telling them that, yeah, they lost the war, and, you know, just like completely provoking. And I took a digital picture, and I don't know where it is today. I mean, we're talking like almost 20 years ago, but I took this picture, and in my face is a huge red orb. Okay. So you zoom in on it, and you can actually see the face of this general. And we took it to the Historical Society out there, and I forget the guy's name, but he was a general in the Confederate Army.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was wild. That was like the best picture I ever took, and I can't find it today. I have no idea where it is.
Here's the part 2 of the question. The next week she came, I woke up around 2:22 to use the restroom. When I came out of the restroom, I heard a phone ring and a woman say hello. The nurse came that morning and acted very nervous. Another one of our cats was sleeping between us on the couch, and he started hissing, then jumped down and hissed towards the hallway. I think this nurse has an attachment on her that hates cats.
Well, animals are sensitive to these things, so, you know, I mean, hell, my horse, we used to go out to Gettysburg all the time and with the horses, and me and my friend, we were out riding in Pickett's Charge. All of a sudden, our horses just stopped dead, turned around, and hauled ass back to the campground. You know, there was no stopping them. Right. So, I mean, animals can sense these things, you know. So when, I mean, again, you know, if you're worried about it, you know, say something to her boss or her company or something, and bless your house. You know, that's really the best thing I could tell you to do.
Right.
You know, I mean, you could always fire her and have somebody else come in too if you're that worried. You know, but but do be careful, because a lot of I'm not trying to sound racist or anything like that, but a lot of the home health aides and nursing home nurses and stuff like that, they're all, you know, they're from like Haiti and stuff like that, where they do practice voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the best thing is to bless your house, bless your property, and if things start happening after that, I would call and have the person removed or whatever. I mean, you know, just don't go about it the wrong way. But start with a blessing. Have a priest come in, bless your house, bless your property, and so on.
She also said, my husband looked her up on Facebook and found out that she had a cat 4 years ago that she was trying to find a home for. I don't think Dan got what I'm trying to say. I'm thinking this woman has an attachment.
I mean, I don't know. Without investigating, I can't say yes or no, but my advice would be just to bless your house and bless, you know, hang a crucifix in your house, hang some Catholic imagery in your house. Mother Mary, Jesus, Saint Joseph. It's really the best advice I can give you right now.
Well, that too, and if she does have a demonic attachment and you hang that in the house, she won't be able to walk in that door probably if it's
Exactly. And same thing with the blessing. If she has something there, you'll know. Oh, look at this. They have a diploma in parapsychology. Unbelievable.
Which that takes years to learn too, parapsychology.
Yeah, I think it takes like 10 years.
Yeah, to get your doctorate in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, channeling, telepathy, divination, Ouija boards, tarot reading. Oh, that's all New Age stuff. Pendulum divination, scrying. Unreal. Psychokinesis. Levitation.
Jeez.
I really want to know how they teach levitation.
Yeah.
That's another reason. This is another reason why I don't do investigating anymore. It just becomes stupid.
Kim says, I'm not wanting to call her company. I think she needs to know she may have something clinging onto her. I don't think she knows she has an attachment.
But are you 100% sure that she has an attachment? Because even if she does, and you tell her that she's going to get angry with you, or chances are she can get angry with you, I should say, and then it's going to cause more problems. If she does have an attachment and you bless the house, you hang some imagery, you hang a crucifix and all that, you're going to know if she has something or not, because she won't be able to walk in the house, or she'll be very uncomfortable.
She says, we've always had a cross hanging in our dining room, which is in clear view of the living room where she comes in.
Is the cross blessed? I mean, is it a crucifix or is it a cross? Because the crucifix has Jesus on it. I don't know if you can see it, but I have to turn the phone. That's a crucifix. So if you have one of those hanging and it's blessed, then. But again, if she's got a demon attached to her, and it's a strong one, it's one of the generals or whatever, they can withstand that kind of stuff. But if your house is blessed, your property's blessed, there's ways to go about it without making a huge stink over it. And the way I would start is bless your house, bless your property, some imagery, crucifix, and go from there. I mean, because the last thing you want to do is go around and say, hey, you're possessed. You have a demon attached to you.
Right.
They're going to look at you like you're nuts, especially if they're not.
She says it's a crucifix.
Okay. Does she go in that room, or does she go anywhere near it?
Yeah, I'd try to lure her near it and see what happens, see if she actually responds to it.
You know what you do? Grab, I don't know, around here, I don't know if there's a shrine where you're at, but, we have the Fatima shrine here. Grab a miraculous medal. Grab a miraculous medal and give it to her and see what she does. Or give her even give her a crucifix.
Yep.
I mean, this is a Benedict crucifix, but give her that and see what happens.
She said Tuesday is to be the last time she comes.
Oh, then if she's last time she's coming Tuesday, then I won't worry about it. Just get your house blessed. Get your house and property blessed. That's all. I mean, if there really hasn't been any disturbances, lights aren't flickering, or you're not hearing voices in your house, or things like that. I mean, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it.
Right.
Phone's dying again. I mean, my dog, spots stuff in my house all the time. We actually investigated my house before we moved in, and we caught on the SLS camera. We caught like a 7-foot figure in my kitchen. And the only reason we know it was 7 foot is because I'm 6 foot, and with my arm raised, it still wasn't, near the height of what this thing was. But when we got our dog, the dog picked up on it, and all of a sudden, she was laying down. She stood up, her hair standing up, and she's growling and snarling, and the whole 9 yards. She has only done that twice in a year. So we really haven't had any issues with it, but just if Tuesday is her last day, bless the house.
She said, yes, she's near the crucifix. This house is over 100 years old and has had the Lord's Prayer on a metal sign hanging on the basement stairs.
Okay, I mean, well, still get your house blessed. I mean, my house is 300 years old, and I knew as soon as we bought it there was something here, just because of the age. I mean, it's 300 years old. I mean, come on, you have how many families that lived here since in the 1800s?
Right.
I mean, and behind me, if you look into where the curtain is, behind the curtain, you actually see the original beams to the house. So, right there, I knew there's got to be something, so that's why we investigated it. I blessed it, and I haven't had a problem since.
Yep, I mean, my house is haunted here, even though it was built in 75. It's got 3 confirmed deaths, and the property goes all the way back to the 1800s. It used to be a cattle company, and the railroad actually wasn't too far from my house. I still actually have the telegraph poles from the 1800s.
Oh, nice.
So
that's why I'm slow charging.
She said, Dan, 2 cats having issues after her coming into the house, and me hearing a phone ringing and a woman saying hello is activity.
I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, if that's all that's happening, that's minor. A blessing will take care of that. If you're Catholic, go to confession.
Yep.
Go to confession. Have the priest come to your house, bless your house. Put Benedict medals in the ground on all 4 corners of your property. I don't know if you can see it. Put Benedict medals in all 4 corners of your property. Have them blessed. Seal the property. That'll keep everything. You can even do it with crucifixes too. I mean, I can't say for sure because I'm not there.
Right.
And I won't say that. So that's why I'm telling you, bless the house, bless the property. I don't know where you live. Chances are you're probably further than I can go right now. But there's other people here. I'm sure there's people around you that can help you out.
She said, I'm not Catholic, but we said a prayer and cast it out.
Cast what out? I mean, do you know for sure that there's something there? Do you have moral certainty that there's something there? Like I said, animals can pick up on spirits. You might just have a portal open in your house and spirits just walking in and out. There's 100 different variables here that could be the problem here. But without investigating it, you don't know you don't know.
Right.
And so, I mean, I want to help you. I just don't know, how. I need to be there to invest. I need to be investigating it to, to help you. That's why I'm telling you, bless the house, get the property blessed.
So I hope that helps you, Kim. So, I mean, until you can get somebody out there to actually physically investigate it and see what evidence they can collect from it.
I mean, if she really has a problem, she can contact the order. Okay, the website for the order is www.orderofexorcists.com. Send us a email, and it'll get sent out to everybody, and whoever's closest will take the case. That's really the best I can do, unless you're in my area. Unless you're in like the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, maybe Virginia area. Well, not Virginia, Maryland.
She said, I can feel spirits. Yes, we have portals, but our house hasn't been active for a few years now.
Close the portals. Get the portals closed. You don't want these things in your house.
Okay.
You don't want any spirit. You don't want any spirit in your house.
She's in my neck of the woods. She's in Missouri here.
Oh, there you go. So, yeah, close the portals. Don't. Yeah, you don't want any type of spirit in your house. One spirit can lead to another, and then it just turns into one big party after that.
Yep, it becomes like a revolving door.
Yeah, the Bible says, Matthew, Luke, and Mark say that you kick the demon out, it wanders in arid places and looking for a new home. But if you don't fill that void with God, they're going to come back 7 times worse.
Yep.
With seven more worse than them, and then those 7 more are going to invite 7 more, and so on and so forth. And then before you know it, you're going to have a whole big demon party.
Yeah, and I tell people that too. The same thing. They just, if you don't follow the instructions after you get it gone, it's just going to come back. And when it comes back, it's going to be even more angry, and it's going to be 10 times worse for you.
Exactly. So, but what's my phone at? My phone is at 6%.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap.
So
we've been on 2 hours already. So,
yep.
If people need to get a hold of you for cases or help, how can they get a hold of you?
You can go to our website, which is Our Lady of Divine Mercy AC.net. In the bio it says St. Benedict's. That was the old name. I changed it at request of Our Lady. So you can contact me there and send us an email there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube at Reverend Dan Todd and at Divine Mercy 65. We have a online deliverance session coming up on December 27th at 6:30. 6:30, the rosary will do the rosary. 7:00 will be the deliverance session. And then if you're in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area on December 14th, we're hosting a rosary rally in Frenchtown, New Jersey on River Road in the parking lot across from Art Yard Studio. They're having a transgender cross-dressing party or something like that. So we're going for a rosary rally and gonna pray the rosary and some other prayers there as well to combat demonic forces. You can also contact us through the Order of Exorcists. Again, www.orderofexorcists.com. And if you have any items that you feel might be haunted, you can send it to me at P.O. Box 201, Highbridge, New Jersey, 08829.
All right. And I thank you for being a guest on the show. It was an awesome
no problem.
show. And if you want to hang out backstage, for a minute. I'm gonna close the show out, and then I'll be right
Let
back.
me give you a quick blessing here. May Almighty God bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys found the show informational. Remember, if you're being bullied in the paranormal field, you do have a voice. Nobody's better than anybody in this field. We're all after the same common goal. And with that being said, everybody have a good night. Stay safe out there. God bless. And we will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Have a good night, everyone.